So, I did this a while ago, and I mentioned it when I did the last part in this series that I was going to do it again, but with a more broad spectrum. And the reason for the broad spectrum is because we talk about wrestling as a whole. And not just Ring of Honor, not just TNA, or WWE, or global wrestling in general. And, I think that, much like a legend said, more people are making money outside of WWE on the indies in wrestling since the territory era, which shows the health and the increased expansion of the independent scene over the last few years, and how beneficial social media and streaming sites like Go Fight Live and streaming services like RF Video, highspots.com, etc., how they have benefited the wrestling business. And how they've helped the wrestling business. Because not even looking at companies outside of the indies, the smaller territorial-based independent companies that, like a NWA branded companies like Global Force Wrestling, companies like Ring of Honor, companies like PWG. More people are making money with those companies than in the longest time. And maybe Jeff Jarrett was right. Maybe wrestling is on the brink of a golden age. Maybe wrestling is closing in on a time when fans can have more than just WWE again. Or even more than just companies that are in mainstream, that are on television. And I'm not going to get into the YouTube aspect of things and how idiotic the change in policy is for YouTube, and how much money they lose, and how much viewership they may lose, and how much just in general they lose not helping wrestling companies. I'm not going to get into that. But what I will say is, social media still does help, because it makes people get known faster. And websites like the Indie Power Rankings and Indie Wrestling Life help get the attention on the independent wrestlers that deserve the attention, and highlight the positives about independent wrestling. I mean, I don't think anybody would have thought that the last year in wrestling would have happened. From AJ Styles debuting in WWE to now this year with the stupendous rivalry between Okada and Omega. And just the fact that for the first time since the company was founded, New Japan Pro Wrestling does a show in the United States. The next year of wrestling is going to be very indicative of, will we see pro wrestling expand towards a golden age? And I have some bullet points, like always, to go through. So now I'm going to stop talking about nonsense and start talking about the bullet points. And one of those bullet points is, well, basically these bullet points are things that I could see happening within the next year. And one of those things, the first thing actually, is New Japan runs more shows in the United States and continues to expand into the United States within the next year. And then you say, oh, does that mean you think New Japan comes back before the end of 2017? No. But I do think New Japan will be back in 2018 and not with Ring of Honor. I think New Japan will do what they did this year with the G1 Climax Special in Long Beach. I think they do it again next year, and maybe even more than just one show or one weekend. But I think the US expansion continues in 2018 and for the rest of 2017 for New Japan. And the next one plays into something we saw at Money in the Bank. The stare down and the fight between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. I do think that within the next year, we will be seeing Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles compete one-on-one in a WWE ring. Whether it be at SummerSlam or at WrestleMania, even though I know most people, almost everybody thinks it should be at WrestleMania, having it at SummerSlam, wouldn't that elevate SummerSlam? Wouldn't that give SummerSlam more meaning? Wouldn't it give SummerSlam more attention? Having such a major match, such a major rematch, especially if they'd been feuding. And look, I know if it was me, I'd have their first match at WrestleMania and their second match at SummerSlam. But I'm not WWE. I would also have the possibility of doing the first match at SummerSlam and then doing the second match at WrestleMania. But the whole thing is that I don't think that WrestleMania happens. I mean, that if I think their first match happens at SummerSlam, it won't happen at this year's SummerSlam. It'll happen at next year's SummerSlam pay-per-view. Because it just can't. It just can't happen this year because it would be too rushed. Even with the stare down at Money in the Bank, it can't happen this year. And if it does happen in 2018, I put my money on WrestleMania. Because either way, no matter when it happens, and that's one of the reasons why it doesn't really matter, but no matter when it happens, Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles will tear the house down and show people exactly why they were the match people were talking about after Wrestle Kingdom 10 in 2016. The next thing is we go back to Slammiversary last weekend, and well, Global Force Wrestling exists. TNA Wrestling or Impact Wrestling does not. Impact Wrestling is officially over. TNA Wrestling is officially over. The only thing that continues, in my opinion, I think, is Impact. I'm not sure, but as far as I know, it still is. But basically, Global Force Wrestling is the surviving company, and TNA was merged into Global Force Wrestling. Which means that Global Force Wrestling is the company that's on Pop TV now. Global Force Wrestling is the number 2 company in the United States. And Global Force Wrestling is, well, finally got their TV deal. But either way, I think now with all that out of the way, with an extremely successful Slammiversary, I don't do this a lot, but I'm going to say congratulations to TNA, congratulations to Jeff Jarrett, congratulations to the creative team, congratulations to Anthem Sports. I didn't watch Slammiversary, but from what I've heard and from what I read, Slammiversary was an extreme success, and I'm extremely happy for TNA. Impact Wrestling, I'm sorry, I've been calling them TNA for the last 15 years, so it's a little hard to get used to. But either way, I'm very happy for the company, and I hope the best for them with Global Force Wrestling, under the name Global Force Wrestling at this point, because I think within the next year you'll see stability come to the brand now known as Global Force Wrestling, something that didn't exist, that hasn't existed for almost a decade in that company. But I hope, this is by far the one thing that I hope the most for, because more stability brings more productivity to the wrestling business and allows more people to get on TV on a national scale. So I hope that is by far the biggest hope I have for Impact Wrestling, Global Force Wrestling, whatever you want to call the company. That's the biggest hope that I have, that stability is not that far behind. And now the next thing is, I've heard rumors recently that Sinclair Broadcasting has purchased the cable station formerly known as WGN America. I believe that was the station. Yes, WGN America was once the home of WWE Superstars before Superstars moved online, and I believe Superstars is now on the network. But this means that with Sinclair expanding, Ring of Honor's expanding. Which means that not only will Ring of Honor be available on the cable stations that Sinclair had it on currently, but if in fact Sinclair is purchasing WGN, it would allow Ring of Honor to be broadcasted on other television stations as well, which would be extremely beneficial to the brand and the company, and allow the company to further expand and grow, which once again would help the wrestling business, because the more eyes we have on wrestling, the more likely that a fan that watches WWE and doesn't like what's going on with WWE looks over and says, oh, Ring of Honor, oh, Global Force Wrestling, oh, New Japan, and other, Lucha Underground, I apologize. But the more that is on television, the more options, the more likely somebody finds an alternative. And if Ring of Honor is expanding, that's amazing. Because more eyes, more possibilities. The next thing is that there are rumors of various top independent stars coming to the WWE, and also not really a rumor, a confirmed story that a current WWE star is no longer with the company. And so I'm going to start with number one, and that is Adam Cole. Earlier in the year, Adam Cole was Ring of Honor champion, and then from winning the Ring of Honor World title at Wrestle Kingdom 11 to dropping it to Christopher Daniels, to then people finding out that Adam Cole's contract is expiring and he will not be re-signing with Ring of Honor, Adam Cole knows how to keep himself, and then winning the Super Indie Cup with I want to say ICW, but I forget. But Adam Cole really knows how to keep himself in the public eye and keep attention on him. And according to rumors, he is one of many former Ring of Honor stars that could be heading to the WWE, and that's why I'm going to say this. Adam Cole, Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish will be champions in the WWE in the next year. I'm not saying that they will be WWE champions or NXT champions. I'm saying they will be champions. They will hold a title that is under the WWE banner within the next year. Because Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish have too much talent to not hold a championship that fast. The next thing is with Shelton Benjamin. Now, last year, for those who don't know, Shelton Benjamin was supposed to be along the lines of Jinder Mahal, Kurt Hawkins, Rhino, as veterans to return to the WWE to help with the depth from the new brand split. But unfortunately, Benjamin got hurt and had to have surgery, and Benjamin was out of the ring until recently, earlier this year, and now the rumors have been coming back up that Benjamin is coming to the WWE. And it seems to me that it's almost confirmed that Shelton will be returning to the WWE very soon. And I, for one, am extremely excited because you hear a lot of old school guys saying that this might not be the most psychologically based WWE roster, but it is the most athletically gifted. So having Shelton Benjamin, one of the most athletically gifted people in WWE history, go in the ring against other people like a Seth Rollins or like an AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura or Dolph Ziggler, or the list goes on and on and on of prospective opponents for Shelton. I am very excited to see Shelton Benjamin return to the WWE, so I hope that Benjamin does come back very soon. And, you know, you may ask about the other guy, and I'm just going to say Austin Aries. Austin Aries was the first person to win the Ring of Honor World title twice. And also the first person to... Okay. The first person to be Ring of Honor and TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And you say, no, AJ Styles was. If I'm correct, AJ Styles has never won the Ring of Honor World title. Actually, no, I am wrong. Samoa Joe is. Well, but the point is, Austin Aries joins a small group of people to win both titles. He is one of only 2 people to win both titles. And that means that, yes, it's unfortunate that he didn't work out in the WWE, but Austin will join the likes of Carlito. Why am I thinking about Carlito? Cody Rhodes and various other people that rise their stock and become a huge asset for the independent scene following their WWE departure. So I'm very excited to see what Austin Aries does once he gets back on the indies. And even though he did get released, he may have a 90-day no-compete clause like Jack Swagger, so it is very possible you may not see Austin Aries until the winter on the indies, but I think very soon after he returns to the independents, he will be a champion within the next year. And seeing him against Cody Rhodes would be quite a contest. I mean, being honest, I didn't really think he fit in the WWE, but, you know, then again, who knows? Because we don't know how it happened backstage. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the independents. Because recently I've been hearing a lot more about guys like Shane Strickland and Lio Rush and Desmond Xavier and ACH and, you know, guys that may be in the top prospect tournament with Ring of Honor or thrilling the people in companies like Beyond Wrestling and and other companies like that, like Evolve. But there's no doubt in my mind that the indies are healthier and more deep than they have ever been. And that can be accredited to training schools and just people never losing an interest in wrestling. You know, and also guys like Matthew Riddle who make the jump from MMA to pro wrestling. And by the way, Matt Riddle is one of the most talented people in the ring on the independents, and he proves it every time he steps in the ring. But Matt Riddle is one of a handful of talented people that have not only been on the WWE's radar, but any top company in the world has been looking at independent wrestlers. And, you know, not even in the United States. Not even just in the United States. Because look at Trent Seven. Look at Marty Scurll. Look at Will Ospreay. Ricochet. I apologize. I go from naming UK to naming Ricochet. But Pete Dunne, one of the most talented guys, international superstars. Trent Bate, or Taylor Bate, or whatever the heck the guy's name is. The WWE UK series is shining the light on how much of a golden age the UK is going through right now. But the wrestling scene is healthier than it's ever been, and companies like What Culture Pro Wrestling help that. And other smaller companies help that. I just threw out the name What Culture because before they got into wrestling, they already knew social media. They already had a vast following, because of social media. And not even just a vast following in the UK, a vast following in the States, and they proved that in Orlando when they went to WrestleMania weekend. But the fact of the matter is, wrestling has never been more healthy, at least since the territories died. So, I do think, at the rate we're going, we may be in the midst of a wrestling golden age. Maybe in the next year, I won't be saying if, or that we might be. I might be saying that we are. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that next year, we'll be in the midst of a golden age. Because it's about time for another one. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree with any of my bold predictions for the next year in the wrestling business. And let me know what you think may happen over the course of the next year in the world of professional wrestling, because there is definitely not only a lot of possibilities, but a lot of things that could happen and going on right now in the world of professional wrestling. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.